Hey guys, so this is Fiaura the Tank Girl, and I thought I was done for the night. I'd just gotten out of the shower and was about to go to bed, and I saw I got a reply to something very interesting. So what I'm going to reveal to all of you guys after getting permission from Jinxx and Freitag is all of the stuff in your game files that's programmed in that isn't on yet for Armored Warfare. Surprise! I actually have some coding work. I actually know how to do certain amounts of code, and in this case, I was able to figure out how to open the resource packs, look at them. I can't actually look at the game images themselves except for a couple of little map files because the tank images are compiled in the game engine, and to do that I have to log into the server. Yeah, I don't know how to build my own server or how to program it otherwise, so there was that little issue. So instead I have some real life pictures of what these tanks look like and probably what they're going to be reflected as in the game. So the first thing I'm going to go over is the maps. So this map is called Coastal Threat. This map was actually available in one of the earlier alpha versions of the game. I'm imagining that the two bases are the two town squares, the white and green town squares. You have this forested, hilly area to the north to fight in, an open beach to the far south, and then a pure city including a construction site, a mall, all sorts of stuff to just rumble around in your tanks. So again, this one's already been seen, but it's just not turned on right now. But these next three have not been seen yet. Again, I just got out of the shower. I don't have on any makeup, don't have any jewelry, deal with it. But what we have here is called Narrows. I can tell from looking at the minimap that it's multi-level because of the way that there are shadows and depressions all across this map. The map is a 3D image, and you guys can see it as well, that there are just so many places from which to hide from fire. There's these silo-looking things. I'm not sure what type of buildings these white circles are. There's a couple of other buildings scattered around, and then there's all these roadways and river crossings that you'll probably have to defend or attack across. Now the next map is going to be a bit of an interesting one to me. This is called Pipelines. And as you can see, there's an oil-looking or a chemical refinery way off to the west. There's some sort of pumping station on the south side of the river, and there's a city-like area to the northwest. This reminds me very heavily of Erlenberg. Now, I could also see that there are two options that could both be implemented for where to position the bases. North-south across the river from each other is very possible. It's very similar to World of Tanks Erlenberg. The other option I'm seeing here is an east-west configuration to force you to fight across the river, which I could see the disadvantages and advantages to both sides of having to fight across that river. And there's also all these little islands. Now I'm wondering if we can actually get on those islands, or if it's going to be just a straight plunge into World of Submarines, you're going to drown mode. But that's to be decided later, apparently, whenever they reveal this. So let's move on to the next and final map that's in your game files that's not turned on, Roughneck. I'm loving this map. This map is going to force you to fight back and forth across a river in the middle of what looks like some sort of chemical plant. Kind of in the northwest quadrant, there's a road, and then there's this gash. I'm not sure if that's a tunnel, a canyon, if it's just a pipeline area. I'm not sure, but it looks really cool and like something that you could potentially hide in or fight across. On top of that, I'm imagining that these islands out in the middle of the river might not just be there for show. You might actually be able to ford the river and get across to those islands, as I can see a couple of little fords. If you look on the two roads running parallel north from the southeast, there's a white line next to them as they cross the river. I'm imagining that's a fordable point. And again, another fordable point I potentially see is down here running east-west on the very south edge road of the map that crosses the river. There's another white area just off next to that road as it crosses. That could be another ford. Also, there's all these little trails in these lines you're seeing that look like car trails that lead to the river. So I'm imagining that those are fording points, and you can get to these islands in the middle of the river. Why you would want to, I have no idea. But now we're going to move on to the tanks, and these are not in any particular order. These are in the order I found them in the game files. I just made a list, went down, and found all of these different vehicles right here in the game files, and the first one is already up on the screen. It is the 2S9 Nona S, self-propelled 105mm mortar. That's right, self-propelled mortar is an SPG line. I'm imagining the self-propelled mortar means it's shorter range than the standard SPGs, but comes with the benefit of higher rate of fire and shorter shell velocity, and possibly more mobility for the vehicle. The next one we've already seen, it just needs to be turned on, is the T90. Seen this tank already, we've seen it in several videos, we know what it can do, but I can confirm it's in the current build of the game and they just need to flip the on switch. The next one is a bit of a weird one that I haven't ever seen before. It's called the Belgilit Panzer 155. It's a tank destroyer panzer. That's all I can find on it. Is it's some sort of tank destroyer, and then I can't find if this is an armored fighting vehicle or another tank destroyer, but it's the Belgilit Panzer 57mm, and the image you see also apparently comes with a tow missile launcher. But I can't figure out if this is an IFV or a tank destroyer. I guess we'll find out when they release it. But it's at present, it's not in a particular file. It's just out by itself. It's not in a folder labeled MBT or a folder labeled SPG like the rest of them, and it's the only vehicle not actually labeled that way. The next vehicle is the BDM-1 105mm self-propelled mortar. Again, another self-propelled mortar. This time on the BMD chassis. The next vehicle is going to be the BMP-3 TD. There's a tank destroyer version of the BMP-3 that apparently comes with nothing but anti-tank missiles. I'm imagining this plays very similar to the swing fire, except for the missiles are probably direct fire instead of aerial up and down fire. But it could be very interesting. The next one is a bit of a tank I've never actually seen or heard of before, called the C1 Tank Italia. It is an Italian main battle tank, as you could probably tell by the real-world image of the tank with the Italian flag on the lower glacis. But it's in the game, it's already programmed in, they just have to turn it on. The next one, and you're all looking at this and going, that's a Centauro. Correct! Except for the game has two versions of the Centauro, one with a 120mm and one with a 155mm. And I'm like, how much damage is a 155 going to do to somebody? We'll find out when they let us have it, shall we? The next two are, they're tanks we pretty much knew were in here. The Challenger 2, right here, it's used on the forum as a kind of forum background art, and also the Challenger 1. Both tanks are already programmed into the game. They just have to turn them on. I'm not going to take a lot of time with them because we pretty much expected them. But what comes next is something we did not expect. The FV-432 mortar. That's right, I said mortar. It's an APC British design with a mortar. This one in this case has an Israeli flag. It may actually be an Israeli version of that very tank. The next tank is the FV-510. I'm guessing this is an armored fighting vehicle equipped with a 20 or 25mm autogun and possibly missiles, possibly playing very similarly to the M2 Bradley. Now this one is very interesting. There's a FV-421 Fox armored fighting vehicle, and then there's an FV-721 Fox tank destroyer, both in the resource packages. Not quite sure what the armament is on either one because I couldn't identify the armament file for these two, but they are both there. There's two versions of the Fox, and we will see what they're going to unleash with both of them. Now, I may be wrong about the type. There may actually be a Fox mortar. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure Jinxx or somebody will correct me on this one. The next one that's programmed in is the GIATSINT. I have no idea how to pronounce that. It's a foreign word to me. I'm not a linguist. The secondary piece of its name is the 2S5. It's a 100 and I believe I wrote it down. It's a 155 millimeter self-propelled gun. There's the LAV 600, which is an LAV 300 with an upgraded turret and equipped with a 120 millimeter gun. So that's there. Cool. Then there's this thing, the M108 105 millimeter self-propelled gun. From the looks of the number of self-propelled guns not active, there are 2 entire self-propelled gun lines that we did not know about. Which brings me to this thing. There is the M109, and then there's the M109A6 Paladin. It is totally in the game. It is totally ready to go. All they have to do is turn it on. I'm imagining it's the Paladin with a 155, and yes, that is a ridiculous muzzle brake. But the Paladin is not the biggest artillery piece in the game. All of you are going, some of you are going, already know. Well, guess what this thing is? The M110 203 millimeter self-propelled gun. I'm terrified. 203 millimeter artillery. That's going to leave a dent. So, but there's a couple more artillery pieces. This is the Striker mortar, the M1129 120 millimeter mortar carriage. It is a Striker combat vehicle equipped with a mortar. Kind of cool. I'm wondering if they're actually going to have the crew animated, because obviously this is not turreted, and obviously this has to open those 2 back doors in order to fire, but there may actually be crew that you can see inside the tank walking around, which would be a really cool feature. The next artillery piece, and yes, there are a lot of artillery pieces that aren't active that we did not know about. I'm only including tanks we didn't know about that aren't active, not tanks that we already, pretty much knew, but just a couple that they've kind of been iffy on. I'm going over those. So this is the AMX MKF3 155 millimeter SPG. It's pretty simple. It's a French version of the 155 self-propelled gun. But then I ran across this thing, and I don't know what to make of it. It's the PL-01. It's a real tank. I get different speculations on what its armament is, but I guess we'll find out when they release it. It's under main battle tanks. Weird looking tank. Kind of cool looking too. Very futuristic. Is this a stealth tank or something? Again, we'll find out when they release it, but this is actually already programmed into the game. There is another artillery piece. I know you're getting sick of hearing about the arty, but I'm guessing there's 2 whole arty lines we just can't see. This is the PZH-2000 German self-propelled 155 millimeter gun. Then there's this thing, and you're like, Fiaura, that's a T-64. Correct. But there's a T-64A, which comes with a 125 millimeter gun instead of the 115. That is already programmed into the game and ready to go. Then there is this thing. That's not a T-90, that's a T-92. Russian main battle tank. And this particular version that I found on the real world searches that I did is equipped with a 125 millimeter gun and a similar phalanx defense system for shooting down missiles. And that's all of them I found in the game files right now, ready to go. So I'm glad that Jinxx and Freitag let me put this out. I hope you guys have enjoyed this little expose, and I hope that it gives you something to look forward to as they release more and more tanks. Again, I didn't have on any makeup. My hair's still wet from the shower, but I wanted to make this for you guys and get it ready and go ahead and put it out there. So I hope you guys have enjoyed. But for now, this is Fiaura the Tank Girl officially signing off, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye. Thank y'all for watching. If you liked the video, then please shoot the like button in the face like a pro. If you want to talk with Fiaura or comment on the video, please leave a comment. I'll reply as soon as I possibly can. Want to help the channel out? Share this on your social media like Facebook or Twitter, or go post it on your favorite forum. If you would like to know when I'm live streaming, you can either go look at my Twitch channel and follow it, or you can go to Twitter. Every time I start the live stream, there's a tweet that goes up that lets you know I started. If If you want to see more, please subscribe. You're always welcome in Fiaura's house, and check out some of these other videos here for you to enjoy. If you want to support the channel, I ask that you click on the ad at the end of this video. YouTube pays its creators for your clicks, and every time you do that, you are showing support for your favorite YouTubers. You can also look in the description or click on the woman outside the IS4 tank and go to the patronage page to donate directly. Remember, I base all my contests on your patronage, so basically all that money that gets put in gets thrown right back out to you guys. In the meantime, this is Fiaura the Tank Girl signing off, and I will see you in the next video.